It's a cinematic twist of fate when beloved movies flirt with entirely different destinies. Sometimes directors pivot, and other times test audiences wield the power of change, steering the narrative away from disappointment. Here's a glimpse into how 10 iconic movies almost concluded in ways that would have left us in awe or utter disbelief. Number 10, Return of the Jedi. In the original Star Wars trilogy finale, Han Solo's fate hung in the balance. Harrison Ford proposed a darker end for his character, advocating for Han's demise, adding weight to the narrative. The Star Wars universe nearly witnessed an ending that would have reshaped its legacy. A Tale for What Might Have Been unveils a shocking twist that could have altered the fate of the iconic characters and the entire galaxy. According to transcripts of meetings between George Lucas and co-writer Lawrence Kasdan, the climax was intended to follow the familiar path, yet with a monumental departure. After the demise of the Emperor, Luke Skywalker would have taken a dark turn. In a grim and unexpected twist, Luke was scripted to put on his father's helmet, proclaiming allegiance to the dark side, vowing to destroy the rebel fleet and seize control of the entire galaxy. Imagine the repercussions. Anakin Skywalker on the brink of death, witnessing his son succumbing to the darkness, perpetuating the Emperor's reign of terror. It would have extended the Empire's reign, leaving Leia to mourn the loss of her brother to the dark side. Fortunately, creative minds prevailed. Lucas and Kasdan steered away from the ominous ending, crafting a resolution filled with hope and redemption. Luke resisted the seduction of the dark side, aiding to the redemption of his father. The rebellion triumphed, and the Empire crumbled. The jubilation echoed on Endor. Over the years, tweaks to the ending have occurred, with Hayden Christensen's image replacing Sebastian Straw as the Force ghost of Anakin Skywalker. Undoubtedly, the final act of this original trilogy stands as one of the most joyous moments in Star Wars history. Number 9, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Edgar Wright's adaptation of Brian Lee O'Malley's graphic novel almost had a twist. The film's reality could have been just a dream for Scott Pilgrim, portraying a stark departure from the final happy ending. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World recently found new life on Netflix as an animated series. However, the 2010 film harbored a secret ending that could have diverged drastically from the conclusion cherished by fans. The film initiated production before the comic was completed, granting Wright the creative freedom to mold his conclusion. The original ending portrayed by Scott, played by Michael Cera, rekindling his romance with Knives Chow, played by Ellen Wong, his teenage girlfriend sidelined in pursuit of Ramona, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Wright's initial vision would have had Scott's character make a poignant return to Knives after Ramona's rejection, shedding light on the complexity of his relationships. However, the narrative choice sparked disagreement. Brian Lee O'Malley, the comic creator, deemed it weakened Knives as a character. O'Malley steered the story towards a stronger resolution, aligning with his vision for the comics, where Scott dates Ramona. In the revised ending, expertly crafted for a more satisfying conclusion, Scott resisted the dark allure, contributing to the redemption of his character. This alteration not only resonated better with the audience, but also showcased the evolution of his character. Edgar Wright, reflecting on the changed ending, acknowledged a preference for the new version. The initial concept, reminiscent of bittersweet endings, had a lingering question mark that challenged perceptions of right and wrong. However, the revised ending embraced optimism, offering closure to the characters and the audience alike. Notably, an alternative ending proposed by Wright but ultimately abandoned due to time constraints flirted with the darker narrative, portraying Scott as a serial killer. In this chilling twist, Scott had allegedly murdered all of Ramona's exes, constructing a virtual reality as a coping mechanism. In the vast cinematic landscape, where endings shape the legacy of a film, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World found its distinctive resolution, capturing the essence of complex relationships, redemption, and the ever-evolving nature of storytelling. Number 8, 28 Days Later. This zombie thriller underwent various ending iterations. One discarded ending had the protagonist sacrificing himself to save a fellow survivor, offering a bleaker resolution. Renowned for its brutal realism, haunting depictions of a desolate London, and a profound exploration of human nature in times of crisis, this film has etched itself as a touchstone in the genre. However, aficionados might be intrigued to uncover the varied alternative ending that Boyle and his team ventured into before settling on the released version. The existing narrative concludes on a relatively optimistic note for our trio of protagonists, as they are spotted by a passing airplane after Jim miraculously survives a gunshot wound. Yet hidden in the DVD extras lie 3 alternative endings, all sharing a chilling commonality: the demise of Jim. One iteration mirrors the theatrical release, with the group eluding unhinged soldiers seeking refuge in a hospital. Despite their efforts, Jim succumbs to his wounds, leaving Selena and Hannah to navigate the desolate world alone, a somber conclusion to their harrowing journey. A parallel ending echoes the released version but casts a darker hue. Selena and Hannah are again seen outside waving at the passing airplane. However, in this rendition they stand alone, their desperate optimism in stark contrast to the absence of Jim, their companion and savior, who succumbed after the conflicts with the soldier. The most dramatically distinct and emotionally charged finale takes an entirely different trajectory. This ending discards the soldier's storyline, focusing on Hannah's infected father, Frank. The survivors transport him to a hospital in a desperate attempt to cure him. Here, they encounter a character absent from the released film, revealing that the virus can be eradicated through a complete blood transfusion. In a last act of nobility, Jim offers his own blood and life on the operating table so that Frank can survive and find relative happiness in the apocalyptic world with his daughter. While the theatrical ending may appear somewhat Hollywood-esque, the alternative to the hero sacrificing himself feels even more tonally inconsistent with the film's overarching theme of a dog-eat-dog mentality needed to survive. Despite reshaping the zombie genre, the divisiveness of the ending led to the US release incorporating one of the darker endings in a post-credit sequence, a contemplative move on the producer's part to leave audiences pondering what conclusion truly defines the essence of 28 Days Later. Number 7, Get Out. If you think you've seen the darkest depths of Jordan Peele's horror debut, Get Out, then think again. Peele, the comedic maestro turned director, had an alternate ending in mind, but would have plunged the film into an abyss of despair. In the movie, the character Chris discovers that his white girlfriend's family isn't just racist, but is part of a cultish group aiming to control the minds of black men. The film takes a brutal turn, with Chris escaping after a bloody showdown with the family and a rescue by his cousin. However, in an interview on the BuzzFeed podcast, Another Round, Peele spilled the beans about an alternative ending he had scripted and filmed, one where Chris faces the cops after slaughtering the entire family. Locked up and facing an uncertain fate, this ending paints a chilling picture of a protagonist trapped in a justice system that might not be just. Peele explained that he chose the ending we see in theaters because it needed to be more than just dark. It needed to be satisfying. The fear of police brutality towards black individuals is an unspoken terror that hovers in the air, making the chosen ending powerful as it leads the audience to anticipate the worst before the tension is broken by Chris's cousin. The brilliance of Peele's final choice lies in transforming a potentially grim conclusion into a heroic escape, providing the audience with a positive feeling. It resonates, and Peele notes the gratification of witnessing the audience's eruption when the cousin shows up. For Peele, Get Out was more than just a horror film. It was a deeply personal project, a narrative of the African-American experience often underrepresented in mainstream cinema. The actor who portrayed the cousin, reflecting on the changed ending, expressed relief and praise for Peele's decision, emphasizing the importance of giving the audience a hero and a positive resolution. In the end, Peele's genius prevailed, steering away from an ending that was so too painfully real and delivering a conclusion that not only shocks but also satisfies. Number 6, E.T. In a recent chat with Yahoo, Robert McNaughton, the actor portraying Elliot's older brother, spilled the beans on an E.T. ending that never saw the light of the silver screen. Celebrating the 30th anniversary of E.T., McNaughton unveiled that the original finale involved, brace yourself, another round of Dungeons and Dragons. Elliot, our hero, would transform into the Dungeon Master, orchestrating a game that echoed the camaraderie formed during their extraterrestrial escapade. Picture this, the gang huddled once again over the D&D board, forging a bond that started with a quest for adventure and ended with an otherworldly encounter. As the script dictated, a pan up to the roof would reveal their trusty communicator, signaling that Elliot's cosmic connection with E.T. endured. But then the magic happened. The score, the music, and the spectacle of the spaceship lifting off. Spielberg, in all his directorial wisdom, made the game-changing call. How could one follow the visual symphony of a departing spaceship? The Dungeons and Dragons reunion was shelved, and the iconic rooftop scene became etched in cinematic history. While the abandoned ending could have been a charming callback, Spielberg's visual spectacle prevailed. The final cut left an indelible mark, transcending the realms of sci-fi into the realm of pure movie magic. Interestingly, the Stranger Things series inadvertently plays homage to this unmaterialized ending. The boys, in their post-Demogorgon world, find solace in Dungeons and Dragons once again, a subtle nod to what could have been. In the history of cinematic what-ifs, E.T.'s alternative ending remains a testament to the delicate dance between script and directorial intuition. It proves that sometimes the best decisions are made in the editing room, where celluloid dreams are molded into timeless classics. Number 5, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. You can check out my reaction to this movie on my channel as well. I've really enjoyed Terminator. I need to continue this series as well. Terminator 2 wraps up with a mix of hope and uncertainty, but James Cameron's original ending idea was far more definitive and surprisingly optimistic. The theatrical conclusion, hailed by many, faced a challenging fate. The conclusion lies in an ending that's both satisfactory and conclusive. The collective struggles of Sarah and John across the first 2 Terminator films found purpose in preventing this apocalypse. The T-800 sacrifice becomes a bittersweet triumph. However, in hindsight, it almost feels like a futile act. Originally, Cameron envisioned Terminator 2 concluding definitively. While this might seem commendable, Cameron was convinced otherwise. Mario Kassar, the lead producer, championed the cause to keep the franchise open-ended. A battle of creative wills unfolded between Kassar and Cameron, culminating in a test screening. The original film ending showcased an elderly Sarah Connor in a park, observing an adult John playing with his daughter. In this version, Judgment Day never occurred, and humanity thrived, and John, now a U.S. Senator, striving for the greater good. It was a happy but somewhat cheesy ending, not helped by the less than stellar old age makeup on Sarah. However, the test screening audiences rejected this upbeat conclusion. Critics felt it clashed with Terminator 2's overall dark tone and was reminiscent of a scene lifted from an entirely different movie. Faced with this feedback and the persistent reservations, Cameron conceded that he had misjudged the tone. The theatrical ending we know now emerged from this revelation, retaining Sarah's final voiceover line about machines learning the value of human life, a sentiment equally fitting for both conclusions. Number 4, Alien. Ridley Scott's Alien had a radically different planned ending. Ripley, the protagonist, was intended to meet a gruesome demise at the hands of Alien, showcasing a more chilling and unexpected finale. In the vast expanse of horror cinema, one name stands out: Ellen Ripley, the unsung hero of the Alien franchise, the flame-wielding, child-saving warrior whose iconic status nearly vanished in the early stages. When Ridley Scott unleashed Alien in 1979, it birthed not only a space horror masterpiece, but also the coolest female protagonist of the late 70s and 80s cinema, Ellen Ripley. Portrayed with unmatched brilliance by Sigourney Weaver, Ripley's survival in Alien went against Ridley Scott's initial plan. The director, envisioning a shocking final twist, wanted Ripley dead. The spaceship exploding and the alien defeated. Movie over. Yes, Scott's darker ending, where Ridley would face a grim demise at the hands of the alien, never materialized. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly in 2017, Scott revealed the scrapped ending, an Alfred Hitchcock-inspired twist where Ripley's head gets ripped off. The decision to keep her alive, though challenged by studio executives, proved to be a stroke of genius. Imagine a world without Ellen Ripley, the hero you've been rooting for, dying at the end of the first Alien. It would have turned a tense yet fun movie into a depressing saga, focusing solely on the monster and not the hero. Ripley would have just been another victim, devoid of a happy ending. Scott, an acclaimed director with masterpieces like Blade Runner and Thelma and Louise, had to bow to studio wisdom. Killing Ripley would have been a colossal mistake, transforming the film into a tale solely about the monster and not the resilient hero. Ripley's survival beyond Alien became even more pivotal with the sequels the studio envisioned. In Aliens in 1986, directed by James Cameron, Ripley transformed into an action star, carrying a flamethrower and delivering iconic lines. Sigourney Weaver ascended to action stardom, providing a cinematic hero for women that transcended stereotypes. Sequels to Alien could have existed without Ripley, but it wouldn't have been the same. Ripley was the reason the audiences tuned in. Her character's continued existence in Alien and Alien Resurrection ensured the franchise's enduring appeal. In cinematic history, sometimes the unexpected twist that the studio didn't want and against all odds saved the hero. Without Ellen Ripley, the Alien saga would have been a different, less captivating journey. Number 3, The Butterfly Effect. Ashton Kutcher's journey in The Butterfly Effect took a darker turn in the director's cut. Instead of altering events, the protagonist chooses to prevent his own birth to spare others from the fallout. The Butterfly Effect, a 2004 time travel thriller that daringly tiptoed into the shadowy realm of chaos theory, remains a cryptic tale steeped in the macabre. Beyond the familiar facade of mathematical theory lies a narrative that once flirted with an ending more grim and nihilist than most dared to venture. chaos theory unveils the mathematical labyrinth far more intricate than meets the eye. It dances with the idea that seemingly chaotic numbers eventually create discrete patterns, illustrating how minor alterations early in a mathematical structure birth profound consequences further down the line. The butterfly effect, born from the mind of mathematician Edward Lorenz, echoes how the butterfly wings in Brazil can birth a tornado in Texas. The architects behind the butterfly effect sculpted a narrative where chaos theory serves as a mere backdrop. Their focus, a sci-fi symphony that plunges into the abyss of trauma and the futile struggle against its haunting tendrils. Ashton Kutcher steps into the shoes of Evan, a man entangled in a web of memory blackouts shadowed by horrible traumas. From family struggles to accidental manslaughter and malevolent clutches, Evan's journey is anything but idyllic. His solace lies in an unrequited love for his best friend Kaylee, played by Amy Smart, whose own demons dance in tandem with his. Adding a surreal twist, Evan discovers a unique power in college, an ability to transcend time by projecting his consciousness into his past self during those blackouts. In his quest to rewrite history, Evan stumbles through a minefield of unintended consequences, weaving a tapestry of new horrors with each attempt at redemption. The original ending, although dark, presented a noble sacrifice, a protagonist acknowledging that some destinies are best left untouched. Yet, there exists an abysmal version, locked in the director's cut, where Evan's rejection of Kaylee triggers a cascade of misery. Delving into a deleted subplot, we learn that Evan's father and grandfather shared the same time-traveling prowess, with dark motives afoot. The director's cut paints a more grotesque picture, suggesting that Evan's existence alone inflicts imperishable harm on the world. In a surreal and morose twist, watching his own birth, Evan embraces his self-inflicted demise, strangling himself with his umbilical cord. This descent into depressive psychology echoes shadows of Edgar Allan Poe, an explorative of the world worsened by one's mere existence. The implication extends to Evan's stillborn siblings, hinting at a hereditary curse amplifying misery through generations. The filmmakers in this dark odyssey offered no respite, no glimmer of hope. The butterfly effect unfortunately fluttered against the winds of critical acclaim. Its grimness, however, wasn't the primary antagonist. Rather, it grappled with an identity crisis. A hybrid of bleak horror and teen drama, the film suffered a tonal distance that critics found hard to reconcile. Ashton Kutcher's leap from comedic roles also invited skepticism. Had the butterfly effect stuck with this darker ending, perhaps it would have carved a niche into the history of cinema. Yet it remains a relic of the mid-2000s, where darkness meets uncertainty, leaving audiences to ponder the chaotic echoes of what might have been. Number 2, Clue. You can check out my reaction to this movie on my channel as well. John Landis's Clue astounds with not one, but 3 different endings. The audience witnesses Miss Scarlet, Mrs. Peacock, and the real ending in a single viewing. A playful twist ensuring that mystery unfolds with each time. The element of surprise gave way for theaters eventually disclosing which endings were playing. Rumors even circulate about a 4th ending, but perhaps 3 twists was enough. In a recent revelation, Tim Curry, the iconic butler Wadsworth in the 1985 film Clue, spills the beans on the brutal alternate ending that would have never made it to the big screen. The director sheds light on why the scrapped twist failed to meet the film's comedic and surprising standards. Set against the backdrop of the board game, Clue introduces 6 mysterious guests invited for dinner in a New England mansion. When the hosts meet their untimely demise, the ensemble must unravel the mystery, identifying both the murderer and the murder weapon. While Clue famously boasts 3 different endings, Curry disclosed that an additional conclusion once existed: Wadsworth as a cold-blooded murderer. In an interview with Empire, Curry revealed, "I ran around the house killing everybody." However, the director quickly killed that moment, citing its lack of humor, surprise, and an unfortunate tendency to end on an anticlimactic note, saying 3 was enough. Wadsworth, serving as the film's narrator, walks the audiences through the plausible outcomes, eventually revealing himself as an FBI agent in 2 endings. The remaining scenarios point fingers at Miss Scarlet and Mrs. Peacock, both arrested for their crime. The 3rd ending unveils a convoluted web of culpability, portraying Wadsworth as the true Mr. Body. Concerning Wadsworth's knowledge of the guests, the mansion's layout, and hidden passages, the scrapped ending depicts him as Mr. Body, serving as a potential better twist than him being the primary murderer. The abandoned plotline raises questions about Wadsworth's motives and how his revelation might have altered the film's dynamics. While the alternate ending may have been a conventional choice, perhaps diminishing the preceding hijinks, Curry's portrayal as the killer adds an intriguing layer to Curry's enigmatic narrative. The director's decision to discard the twist aligns with the film's overarching theme: comedy and surprise reigns supreme. And finishing off the list at number 1, Seven. The iconic "what's in the box" moment in Seven could have played out differently. Director David Fincher had 7 alternate endings up his sleeve, each a narrative twist. From Somerset killing John Doe to Mills preventing the grim revelation, the possibilities were as numerous as the sins. In the labyrinth of cinema, where plot twists often define our memories, Seven stands tall. David Fincher's 1995 masterpiece, with its seismic ending, is etched in film history. Beyond the actors Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, the unsung hero, Andrew Kevin Walker, penned the screenplay, a pivotal piece of the puzzle of Fincher's career. Walker, a screenwriting virtuoso, doubled as a script doctor for subsequent Fincher projects, including the 1999 film Fight Club. The duo synergy birthed cinematic gems, a testament to Walker's narrative prowess. His upcoming endeavor, adapting The Killer from a French graphic novel, was released in November of 2023. Seven's triumph marked Walker's initiation into major scriptwriting. The movie propelled into 1990s greatness, but its fate hung in the balance during production. New Line Cinema, the production powerhouse, initially deemed the ending too macabre for the masses. This triggered contemplating of alternating the climax, a decision which could have reshaped the thriller genre. The neo-noir crime tapestry, Seven unveils a detective Mills, played by Brad Pitt, and Somerset, played by Morgan Freeman, chase a serial killer embodying the 7 deadly sins. Kevin Spacey delivers an unforgettable performance, anchoring the narrative in a chilling exploration of mortality and malevolence. The movie's pivotal twist, featuring the decapitated head of Mills' wife in a box, secured Fincher's commitment to the project. The shock factor, coupled with profound questions of morality, swayed the skeptical director, reviving his faith in filmmaking. However, New Line Cinema grappled with the starkness of the ending. The studio proposed alternatives to soften the narrative's impact, mistakenly sending Fincher the revised script. Unveiling the altered finale, the director and Pitt opposed this version, insisting on retaining the iconic closure. Studio proposed endings ranged from a race against time scenario to an alternate take where Somerset intervenes to save Mills from the moral abyss. Biblical allegories within a church backdrop and even the inclusion of Mills' dog's head in a box flirted with manifestation. Yet against the studio's reservations, Fincher and Pitt prevailed, cementing Seven's place among the cinematic elite. Today, Seven stands tall, its original ending etched in our collective cinematic memory. The movie's enduring legacy attests to the creative resilience that thwarted the potential divergent fate. In the realm of thrilling narratives, Seven's ending remains a beacon, reminding us that some stories are destined to unfold in their raw, unfiltered glory. So what do you think of these top 10 alternative endings? Have you seen any of them? Have you heard any of them? Do these, alternate versions intrigue you? Do you wish they had been the actual versions that had been released? Are you happy with the choices that had been made? Are there other films that have drastically different outcomes that, are coming to mind? So let me know in the comments if you want to see more content like this, if you have alternative versions that you want me to talk about. But thank you so much for watching, and as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Had the better number are you content Terminator 2 despite reshaping this killing Ripley would have been the hero you've been rooting for. Contemplated an alternating